Let's learn about the difference between pardons, commutations, and clemency, and we'll use this comment to do it. No hate to this commenter, this was not directed to me, but does show a common mistake on what these three things are. Start with commutation. The source here is Black's Law Dictionary. In criminal law, the change of a punishment to one which is less severe, as from execution to life imprisonment, for example. The President has the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. With respect to state offenses, the governor of a state has the power to grant commutations. So think of a commutation as a reduction of a sentence. For example, a 5-year sentence could become a 2-year sentence. A 2-year sentence could become probation. A death sentence could become life imprisonment or something else. That is a commutation. Here's the definition of pardon, and let's look at the second half of that paragraph. A pardon releases an offender from the entire punishment prescribed for an offense and from disabilities consequent on his conviction. What's the difference between pardon and commutation? Well, Black's Law Dictionary helps us out there. A pardon, to be effective, must be accepted, but a commutation is merely a cessation of the exercise of sovereign authority and does not obliterate the guilt nor restore civil rights, and need not be accepted by the convict to be operative. A commutation is simply a remission of a part of the punishment, a substitution of a less penalty for the one originally imposed, while a pardon avoids or terminates punishment for a crime. Clemency is a broader concept. A pardon is clemency. A commutation is clemency. Clemency is kindness, mercy, forgiveness, leniency, usually related to criminal acts. For example, used to describe an act of a governor of a state when he or she commutes a death sentence to life imprisonment or grants a pardon. I think of it this way. Commutation reduces a sentence. A pardon basically eliminates the conviction. But it doesn't mean you're not guilty, because you have to accept it and essentially admit your guilt. It's a little bit different when you have a prospective pardon because the person pardoned hasn't been convicted yet. So, for example, President Ford pardoned President Nixon for any crimes that he may have committed. You can't really admit to having committed a crime that you may have committed and have not been convicted of, at least in the context of a pardon. So, there you go. Pardons, commutations, and clemency. Clear as mud, right?